Let's go ahead and take a look under that wood and see what we have. It looks like there's very few isopods in this culture. Let's overturn this wood, and you'll see that this collection is going very, very strong. Let me get a little closer here. Hello Isopod fans, this is Wally Kern with Supreme Isopods, and do I have a treat for you today. We're going to be talking about Armadillidium, klugii, and there's going to be a very special surprise once we open this container and see these animals. Before we take a look at these clown isopods, I just want to send a special thank you to all the fans, all those supporting this channel. I really appreciate you watching these videos and giving me feedback that this is important for you and it's helping you understand how to keep isopods better. So go ahead and do me a favor, hit that like button down below, leave a comment if you would. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notifications all so you don't miss another one of these videos. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at these isopods. Again, this is Armadillidium klugii Montenegro. There's another color form called Dubrovnik that's a little bit different, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. You can see that this is a 12-quart tub. I have plenty of ventilation holes on the top. I have ventilation on the side for cross ventilation. I really like this tub. It works out well, especially for these isopods. But I'm going to switch over to another tub, and let me talk about that for just a moment. And let me grab that tub. Again, that previous tub is great. I like this one a little bit better simply because it has the latching top. Now I'm going to put a link in the description because I found a great price on these. You can buy 6 of them for very little, and they just work out perfect. So let's take a look at these klugii. Yeah, I just wanted to mention, we'll be talking about the care of these animals throughout the video, but there's one really key point that I want to talk to you about with keeping clowns, and I'll save that until the end of the video. So stick around to the end to see this special tip. I mentioned the ventilation holes a little bit earlier. We have the 3 on top. We have a few holes right on the side. Those work out perfect for these animals. Let's take a look inside. Now you can see this is the basic setup that I have for a lot of my isopods. I have some wood, I have some leaves over on this side, dried leaves. Looks like they've really eaten through them. I've got to put some leaves in today when I do a big feed over all of the isopods. I have cork bark. I have some decaying wood in here, especially decaying wood in the substrate. The substrate is made up of dirt, worm castings, jungle mix, which I absolutely love, wood pellets that are broken down, some orchid bark, and some charcoal. I have the sphagnum moss over on the right, like I mentioned before. I keep that damp. There's only a part of this enclosure, about this much of the enclosure, that's actually damp. The rest of this enclosure is absolutely bone dry. I have some eggshells that I've added, and we feed a variety of different foods like the isopod chow, dried fish, lots of veggies like zucchini, cucumber, pumpkin, as it seems like the Armadillidiums enjoy more veggies in their diet than protein. Let's go ahead and take a look under that wood and see what we have. It looks like there's very few isopods in this culture. Let's overturn this wood, and you'll see that this collection is going very, very strong. Let me get a little closer here. Notice anything different in this culture? That's right, there's some yellow clowns. I'm very, very excited about this. I've seen probably a half dozen or so. I see about 4 or 5 here in this shot. What I've done is I've found about a dozen of these isopods prior to this, and I've isolated those out, and I'll take these isopods, these yellow ones, and I'll put them in that culture as well. I'm really excited about seeing these Armadillidium klugii Montenegro clown isopods. I mentioned before that these Montenegros are different from another color variety called Dubrovnik, and the difference is that Dubrovnik have a white spot and a redder skirt. The overall isopod looks a little bit redder. Now, it doesn't seem like these isopods are that active, but they're really super active at night. And at this point, you're asking, Wally, where's that special tip? Well, when I started keeping Armadillidium maculatum, zebras, and Armadillidium klugii, Montenegro, I lost a lot of the animals, and that's because I was spraying the entire enclosure. I stopped doing that, and absolutely within a month, I started seeing babies. So what I do instead is to keep one area of the tub moist, and I completely stopped spraying the entire enclosure. That was a huge, huge turning point for me to keeping these isopods. If you want to see the do's and don'ts of keeping Armadillidium maculatum zebras, check out this video right here. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed seeing those little yellow clowns as much as I did. What a cool little isopod. We'll see you next week, isopod fans.